Uvalde. My
Close.
gosh.
Close enough.
Buffalo.
Just say Texas.
Yeah, it is. Uvalde. I know how to say it.
I love your pronunciations.
I just stumbled. Uvalde.
Pronunciations.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Isn't it pronunciations?
Yes. And proven again that gun laws don't work. Criminals, by definition, do not obey the law. So why would more laws that don't work start working? It just doesn't make sense. Gun control laws just make it harder for law-abiding citizens to protect themselves. Instead of making it harder for bad guys to get guns, what if we make it easier for good guys to get guns? How do we make that happen? Just join a Second Amendment activist group like San Diego County Gun Owners. SDCGO makes activism easy. Join today at San Diego County GunOwners.com. That's San Diego County GunOwners.com, and join today. So you must be a pretty happy little camper this week.
What did you think of that? That was pretty. It was a pretty amazing. Melissa, did you see that there was a little bit of a Supreme Court situation?
I did.
Just a
Did
little.
you hear about that in the news?
I did.
What did you think?
I think that's amazing, and I hope that it stays. What do you think? Do you think it'll go away?
No, it's not going to go away.
It's good. Yeah, it's done.
This is historic, possibly even more historic than Heller versus DC in 2008. And I honestly, I think it's way better written. It's much stronger.
Right.
The decision. Heller was honestly, Heller was a little, I don't know, a little squirrely, a little convoluted,
A little loose,
maybe. But this is right in your face.
Yeah. And
Second Amendment.
I hate to say it, but if you haven't read the Second Amendment, you might want to read it, because this is about as close to it as you can get at this point.
Yeah. So it.
And what about the other law that they passed? Okay, they threw another red flag laws and all of that.
Right.
I don't necessarily have a serious problem with those. Do you?
Yes. So let's back up. So the decision got rid of good cause. Right. So there is no more good cause. There are no more may issue states. Every state is now a shall issue state.
Right.
You don't have to provide good cause. You don't have to have good cause. You don't have to write a good cause statement. You don't have to come up with an excuse for why you need. You just go in and go through the procedure, which is fill out the application, pay the fee, go to the class, and boom, you're going to get a background check, and then you're going to get a CCW. Now, the other thing and so that they immediately on Friday said, okay, California, no more good cause. So if you're in San Diego, if you're in Orange, if you're in Riverside, San Bernardino, whatever county you're in California, no more good cause. The other thing I think it did, if you read the decision, I think it's page 29 of the decision, and throughout the whole thing, there's no more subjectivity. It has to be objective, which right now the background checks, some people who have a DUI in their history don't get a CCW. Some people do. Some people get one if it's been 5 years. Some don't because it's been 4 years. I think that all that stuff's got to go away too. I think that is the way I read the decision, and I think that there's probably going to be a court case unless changes are made. If you can legally own the gun, then you get a CCW. Where now,
because how could you have one without how could you buy one and then be prohibited to carry it?
Well, but what they're doing now is even if you can legally own the gun, you can't always get a CCW.
Correct.
Which is ridiculous.
That's the ridiculous part.
And honestly, think it through. Like, what does that actually look like? What are you preventing? If somebody owns a gun and you say, hey, you know what? You own a gun, but you're too dangerous to have a CCW.
How many
That's
laws?
ludicrous.
How many laws have been truly thought through?
Like none of them.
When you come right down to it, it's like, well, you just built a road that goes out, and now there's nothing but fresh air.
Right. Well,
but that's okay. I thought that was an astounding call from the Supreme Court.
Yeah. And here's the third thing it did, and then we're going to talk about the law. We're going to talk about Biden's law that you just talked about. So the third thing it did is it said, look, this is how the courts have to look at all gun cases, all Second Amendment cases. They have to look at it, and text and history, basically strict constructionist. What did it mean when it was written? Mm-hmm. Not, well, gee, how does this apply to modern society? No. It's how is it? What was the meaning when it was written? What does the actual text say? and that's huge.
Right.
That's enormous. There are dozens of cases right now waiting to be heard. And everybody kind of put the brakes on, waiting to see what this lawsuit or what this decision was going to read. So now you're going to see, the assault weapons case. They're going to get a ruling. You're going to see the magazine case. You're going to see the roster, the pistol roster case, the 1 in 30 case. You're going to start seeing all these. So a lot of people think, all right, great, we just won this case. We just got this huge ruling. So now, let's all dance in the streets. Everything's solved.
We're done.
Nope. We're kicking off.
We just opened Pandora's box.
Except it's on our side.
It's on for once.
Yeah,
it's
for
on
once
our
we
side.
have a solid foundation. Heller said that you have the right to keep, and Bruen says you have the right to bear, and McDonald in 2010 said it applies to all 50 states.
Right.
So boom, now you're going to see 5 to 10 years worth of lawsuits.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I ran into John Dillon, and he goes, "Oh my God, I'm going to make so much money."
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. Doesn't sound like John at all. No. But okay, so now you got the law that was passed, and it wasn't just Biden. It was 14, I think, Republicans jumped in, and including Cornyn out of Texas and Graham out of South Carolina. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, some of it's good. Like one, there no gun bans in this law.
Right.
Which
I was shocked.
I was pretty surprised.
I thought something would be buried in there someplace, on the last page of the 3 million pages that they write it out on. But no, I was very shocked.
There was a lot of talk, assault weapons ban crap.
Yeah. And if you notice,
crap.
They're not calling them assault weapons anymore.
What are you hearing?
What have I been hearing?
Just semi-automatic?
Semi-automatics.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard them using, the assault weapon because it's never been. I even heard one station actually use the name what assault weapon stood for, which I can't remember what it is right off the top of my head. But
I know I've heard them
something light.
They're using. They're calling them semi-automatics. Trying to ban all semi-autos. Or weapons of war. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Weapons of war.
But,
which is fine. By the way, everybody listening, don't fight that. Call them weapons of war, because if they're not weapons of war, they're not protected by the Second Amendment.
That's right.
That's exactly the intent
I know.
of the Second Amendment. So, yeah, all right, cool.
What did Pelosi say? She wants to take us all back to muskets? Because that's when because
that's what she remembers best.
Absolutely, and
as a young woman,
and that's what the Second Amendment was pointing to. She said were muskets.
She should know. She was around. I think
she was in Congress.
She was a young secretary.
She was in Congress.
She's such a soup sandwich.
Oh.
So okay, no gun bans in the Biden law.
Right.
There are they want to provide funding for red flag laws, which is bad. And
true.
And we've talked a lot about how much we hate red flag laws. The problem is that the only form of red flag law right now are the gun violence restraining orders, and all they do is lower the standards so that you can basically accuse somebody and then boom, they go take your guns. And it's just it's not happening. Is there a red flag? Is it possible for a red flag law to exist that would be constitutional and wouldn't step on the rights of gun owners? I suppose, but I haven't seen it yet.
No.
I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't either.
So.
All right.
And then there's funding for school security. That's good. Yeah. Mental health. That's good, I guess. But I don't know. It all seems like a bunch of fluffy.
But you don't have
fluff.
I think the last two
fluffy fluff, Dave,
are fluff. I don't see anything getting done. That's going to have to be done. Individual school districts. That's how that's going to have to happen. Well, a lot of companies are so frustrated with their websites. Yeah, it looks good. It's out of date. And it's not even getting customers. Well, Sage Tree, they totally get it. Since 2005, Sage Tree has been helping companies with websites that look great, work great, and get leads. Stop being frustrated by your website and get one that you're proud to share. Contact Sage Tree today to get websites that make the phone ring. Getting started is super easy. 866-728-9100. That's 866-728-9100. So let's fix your website today.
Let's fix your website today with Sage Tree. So Harbor Patrol is watching on YouTube, and he said he's going to go check his car for Easter eggs after you brought it up. The origin
They're out there.
You know where that came from? Easter eggs. Where that originated?
No, but I bet you can tell me.
I can tell you. I just found out fairly recently. So the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, which I've seen.
Yeah. Well, apparently while they were filming it, they actually it was Easter, and they did an Easter egg hunt, and then they didn't find all the eggs. So now in the movie, one of the things to do when you're watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show is to find the Easter eggs.
But you know where I think how much farther it went back than that?
No.
Alfred Hitchcock.
What do you mean?
Well, every movie he ever directed, he was in there. And
he was right,
and he would be considered an Easter egg theoretically.
Right, but they didn't call it that.
No.
They didn't call it that till Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's when they started calling it looking for Easter eggs. So when you watch a show or buy a car, apparently, you look for Easter eggs. That's a
well, I was
Rocky
surprised the
Horror
car
Picture
manufacturer started calling him that. I'm going, well, what do you call it?
Well, it's kind of it's a popular thing.
Yeah, so they must have really loved that movie.
It's hip. Young hip kids like
is that
myself.
What it is? Yeah, right.
Be able to.
So
we were talking about.
We're kind of happy. We're happy with one part of it. You knew California was going to figure out a way to try to throw enough mud on it to make it not worthwhile, but that didn't work.
No, so the decision, I'm extremely happy.
Yes,
with.
so am I.
It's way better.
They're not, but we are.
Right. It's way better than Heller. It's way better than the Heller decision. The Heller decision said, all right, well, here's the test. It's got to be commonly owned. You know, a gun has to be commonly owned. And then, you know, it was a little convoluted, to be honest with you. People were really excited about Scalia's decision. I wasn't as excited about it. And there are a lot of people in the Second Amendment community that kind of would whisper like, nah, it could have been better.
Right. Well, everything could have been better. We're lucky we got what we got. But let me be the dummy in the room, okay? Right. So what the Supreme Court did was allow me as a potential gun owner or as a gun owner, what?
So it allowed you to get a permit to carry concealed outside of your home,
right?
Without any subjectivity.
Okay, but you're still going to have the background check.
Exactly.
They're still going to sit on your gun for 10 days while they do your background check? No,
not necessarily. Now, that's another thing that no one's really talking about except for me and John Dillon.
And me.
It was pretty clear to me that the background check also has to be objective, not subjective. And what that means is...
And what does that mean? Yeah.
You know, so right now they do this really thorough background check, but rather than just check, okay, is this person a prohibited person or are they not a prohibited person cannot own a gun?
Okay, so let me simplify it for the listeners.
Yeah.
If I walk in to a gun shop
yep.
in a 3-piece suit and a tie and buy a gun and do the background check, I'm probably going to get it within 10 days. Probably no problem. But if you go in and you got tattoos and chains and a beard, maybe with alcohol on your breath, I don't know. Could that slow it down?
No. Okay, so right now, if you go in and buy a gun, they check the federal database, the NYSRPA system,
to see if you're in there,
and you're either thumbs up or thumbs down.
Nothing to do with how you look.
Nope. Okay. It's either you're a felon or you're not a felon.
Okay.
There are a couple other ways to be a prohibited person, like if you were dishonorably discharged from the military. But in essence,
it's all going to come off of data,
right? Okay. It's just, and it takes seconds. The 10-day wait period has nothing to do with background checks. The 10-day wait period is just a cooling off period.
Oh, that's right, because they've got that data almost immediately.
So if you go to another state, if you go to Texas or, I don't know, other states like Arizona, and you say, all right, I need to buy a gun. You fill out the form and you take it's an instant background check.
And then you buy your gun and walk out.
Well, exactly. So,
but we don't have that here.
Well, we do, but there's an additional layer of background check.
Right, from the state of California.
For example, at the very beginning, when Gore changed the policy, there was a guy who applied for a CCW and it was denied. And the reason he was denied is that a friend of his was being investigated, and he was not cooperative with the investigation. He's not a prohibited person.
No.
He's never been convicted of anything.
No.
If you ask me, that's subjective. That's not. And it's pretty clear to me that this decision basically says no more of that.
Oh, well, that's good, because who's going to watch over the people watching over?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, okay, so we got that.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit more about red flag laws.
Sure.
Because couldn't that be the same thing? In other words, if I'm mad at you for whatever, and I call up and said, hey, he brandished his gun, because I know you have a gun. He brandished his gun in anger at me. And they come down and they automatically will take your gun away and arrest you, most likely.
Right.
Okay. That's what
maybe not arrest you. Probably
depending on how you handle it.
Right.
If you come after them, you're going to jail. If you're not, but would you surrender your gun?
You wouldn't have a choice.
Okay.
You wouldn't have a choice. You'd have to. Honestly, that's something I fear because
that's my fear too.
Well, I'm on TV and whatever.
Yeah, I'm talented. And you've got looks.
Good looking, fun to be around.
Well, I know.
Let's keep going. This is a great segment.
Multiple weapons. But no, because these are these are the questions I've been getting.
But my fear, honestly, walking around town, is that some anti-gun jerk is going to say, "Oh, that's
Michael Schwartz.
The guy.
Yeah,
I know he's carrying, so I'm going to do some kind of false accusation against him."
Which, yeah.
And thanks to, I probably just gave some anti-gun people an idea right there. They're not.
I've thought that the second you said.
They're not real smart, so maybe I might
they
just
won't figure it out.
But with gun violence restraining orders, that world is possible. That they can, hey, here's some lame accusation. Now go take his gun.
So wouldn't this be the time to join one of those lawyer groups that for like $10 a month they'll take care of you, in case you do get,
Well, yeah, but I think what's more important is that we have to stand up and say, hey, look, these red flag laws. Forget it.
Well, I know, but we can't do that because in California that's gonna pass with flying colors.
It has passed, but yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So now you got to protect yourself even more than with a gun.
Yes.
And don't we have a new company coming in? What is it called again?
USCCA. Yeah.
They're coming on board. They like what we do. They really think Michael's cute. But they're the company that you're going to want to partner with. So that if you do get somebody accuses you of something that is not true,
red flag laws,
throw that at them.
Gun violence restraining order.
Boy, they're going to have to hire some lawyers.
But it's just amazing to me, and the Democrats are all for red flag laws and gun violence restraining orders, and the Republicans are almost there. They're almost for them as well. We don't have a friend in this fight.
I think no, you correct me if I'm wrong because you're way smarter politically than I am. I think the Republicans that are going for it are trying to protect their side of the party that may be against guns. In other words, instead of being a true Republican and saying, no, this goes against all our rights, they're fudging a little bit. I guess that's where Rhino comes in, maybe.
I think what it is that the Republicans are master compromisers.
Yes.
They never stand as hard as they should on principle. So they kind of think to themselves, well, this isn't so bad.
I'll give them a little
Let's just give them this and they'll stop. And they're wrong. And they need to start standing on principle and have a backbone.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel. Or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.